Kevin Durant can roll out of bed, or I guess in this case, off the bench, and give you 33 points, as he did in a Brooklyn Nets win over the Phoenix Suns. I'm Robin Lundberg here with Ben Pickman and Wilton Jackson. And guys, when you look at the Nets, obviously health has been a question, but their level of play hasn't been, Ben. They've beaten, it seems like every good team they've played. They won 18 of their last 21 against the West. I'm not so sure they couldn't just win the Eastern Conference with two of their big three. It's the third that puts them, at a, historically kind of great level. But the question mark has kind of been KD's durability. As long as he's actually out there on the floor doing what we know he can, are the Nets, going to win the championship?
I mean, I think they're certainly the favorite to win the championship, and I picked them heading into this season, and I've seen nothing to kind of dissuade me of that prediction right now, right? We were reminded this past weekend that Kevin Durant coming back from all these injuries, when he's on the court, they're not going to have an issue reassimilating him into the lineup, right? He's going to fit right in, as we see time and time again. The broader question still, though, I think you have to be a little bit concerned of James Harden from just an injury re-aggravation standpoint, right? I think Harden, when he came to the Nets, fit in incredibly well himself. And so, again, it's not really a fit question. Can they all mesh together in my mind? It's more, can they all play together? I think that's really the lingering question. But still, Kevin Durant is the most important player on this team, right? He is one of, probably the best player in the history of the franchise. He's an incredible scorer. He's maybe their most important defender. He raises their ceiling, and when he's on the court, they can certainly win the title, even if they don't have James Harden, say, at full strength.
Well, we saw them play so well with Harden and Kyrie and without KD, and we just saw them play well with KD and Kyrie and without Harden. And I think that speaks to the level of talent that's on the team. I mean, when you have a super team, you generally don't have guys as good, especially in year one, as Blake Griffin, Joe Harris, Jeff Green, and the role players that they have. And Blake has played really well. I actually, to your point, Ben, I think Harden's a little harder to integrate because he's kind of the engine. And when he first got there, he was trying to figure out, when do I attack? When do I facilitate? And all that. Kyrie and KD are programmed one way to go get buckets. But for all the questions that we have, when we are, are they going to be healthy? Is their defense good enough? Chemistry. They're the number one seed in the East. They keep beating every other team that we consider a contender. So what evidence has been returned to us, Wilton, that would take us away from having them as the prohibitive favorite?
You know what, Robin? Honestly, it's going to be up to the Nets. They will be the only people that can determine whether or not they don't get to the promised land and win their NBA championship. But to some of the points that you made, when you look at somebody like James Harden, and even in his career, he's had to kind of play on the ball. He has to have the ball in his hands. When you think of like Kevin Durant, and his style of play, like he doesn't have to have the ball in his hand, but he's still going to score. And as we continue to see time and time again, when he's reintegrated into the starting lineup, like he said in his quote after the game, it's like riding a bike. So when he gets the basketball in his hand, he's looking to score. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to stop him from scoring. And when you look at this Nets team and the way that they're built, as you mentioned, Robin, like the core players that they have coming off the bench, the impact of Blake Griffin and Joe Harris, like these guys have really stepped up to the punch to knock down some big shots and really just continue to elevate the Nets without their 3 stars playing. Obviously they've only played about 7 games together. So moving forward, it's really going to determine what the Nets do on both sides of the ball, and just determining what their chemistry is going to look like later on down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a luxury to have, right? Where you can have arguments about who the best player or most important player on the team is when you have Kevin Durant on the team, when you have James Harden on the team, and when you have Kyrie on the team who's having the best season of his career as well.